Yes, welcome back. It is still the Press, the People's Program, and we're about to kickstart a discussion in the studio. And I'm very happy to let you know that I have a full house. Like we'll do it, let me begin by doing the honors, starting with the lady. In the house this morning, I have Jennifer Serrano. She is a dynamic force across multiple industries. Not only a publicist, she's also a business development strategist. She is a lawyer. She's also a celebrated fashion designer, singer, and media personality. A multifaceted career speaks volumes of a passion for advocacy, innovation, and community development. Today, she joins us as a social analyst on the Press. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Beautiful and regal.
Thank you very much. It's so nice to have you.
And yes, like I promised you, we have a gentleman also in the house. Simple, plain, and down to earth. It says he is a political and public analyst. He is a farmer, a husband, and a father. That is what he told me to introduce him as this morning. He is Hassan Sardauna. It's so nice to have you. Please help me pronounce that name, Sardauna. Did I get it right? Sardauna. Yes.
Maybe the late premier of Northern Nigeria.
Yes. So it's so nice to have you on the show this morning.
Anire and the television entire crew, thank you for having me this morning. Yes. And my sister here, Jennifer.
Yes.
Good morning.
Pleasure.
Now, look, the phone lines have been buzzing all morning. The phone lines, that's how important the Press is. This program is the people's program, and the phone lines have been buzzing. It means these are regular callers on the show, but please, we have to start with our discussion first. You have your time to speak. When the phone lines will be on air, then you know you can begin a call. So please relax, just relax. You have your time. Now, this morning, our focus is on Nigeria's democracy. And of course, the statement, credited to four powerful Nigerians who have said that democracy is not working in Nigeria, and we're picking that from the Vanguard newspaper. Can we see the Vanguard? Democracy is not working in Nigeria. Obasanjo, Obi, Tambuwal, and Kuka. That statement is credited to four of them. Democracy failed in Nigeria because it is not African. Ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo. Everything has been knocked down, says Obi. Actors don't play by the rules, says Tambuwal. It is work in progress, says Kuka, who also adds that weaponization of religion, major obstacle to Nigeria's development. This shall be our focus this morning. Now, Nigeria's democracy has been fragile and fluctuating since independence. Successive governments have struggled to create a sense of national unity in a complex country whose borders were drawn by British colonialists, incorporating more than 200 ethnic groups. Democratization and development have progressed at different speeds in the country's disparate regions. This is our focus this morning, and I'm sure that our guests are set to go. But first, before we start, there's something I love to do. I want to find out from my guests their state of mind on happenings generally in Nigeria, state of the nation. And I'm going to start with Jennifer. Jennifer, Nigeria, your state of mind of things going on. We would like to pick your mind.
Okay, so I'd say politically, I'd say Nigeria is in a new era. We're in interesting times where we're somewhere between democracy and some sort of totalitarian rule, somewhere in the middle, but we haven't really crossed lines either way. Interesting times. That's how I would put it. So we're waiting for the dynamics to change, but it's not what it was pre-2023. We're seeing a new dimension to governance, to the political landscape. There's a shift. There's a new narrative coming up, but I think it's still bubbling. It's like an underbelly. It's not quite there yet.
Interesting. Okay. So you heard from the lady, the dynamics is still bubbling. It's not up there yet. There seems to be a shift, but a lot of coloration. We can determine where to pinpoint it. Even the rainbow has particular colors. You can count the colors of the rainbow, but a lot of people have said when it comes to Nigeria's democracy and the way we play it here, you just can't put your finger to it. And more or less what we shall be taking a look at this morning. Again, I have a gentleman in the house, Hassan. I would want your take on the state of the nation before we go straight to our discussion this morning.
Okay, the state of the nation is just defining that we are growing and we are progressing slow and steady in the system of democracy governance. But you cannot stop the hurdles that are happening, because most of the people that are playing the game in the national level, or who we call the elites, they have been military juntas. Those who are now talking about democracy. We have one, the first president in the Fourth Republic, that is former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Just recently, the former President Muhammadu Buhari. So you see them in the mix. So for that reason, the speed of the democracy will not be seen as so fast as we do expect. So at least, but we are growing. This is the situation.
Interesting. All right. Like we said at the beginning, our focus this morning is taken from the Vanguard, and of course it ran through other papers where democracy is said not to be working in Nigeria, and we shall be holding strong to the 3 or 4 speeches made by Obasanjo, Obi Tambuwal and Bishop Coker this morning as our base for our discussion this morning. Now, starting with Obasanjo, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has declared that democracy in Africa is not just failing, but dying, attributing its decline to a lack of alignment with African values and realities. Obasanjo questioned whether Africa was truly practicing democracy or merely adopting a flawed version of Western liberal democracy. Also credited to the former president, he argued that Africa had its own governance system because before colonial rule, which better served its people. He criticized the current system, saying it enables leaders to grab everything illegal and corruptly while telling the people to go to court, even when justice is unattainable. So this is the beginning of our discourse. I will want to start by asking first and foremost if you agree that democracy is not working in Nigeria. And this time I'm going to start with the gentleman, Hassan. Yes or no?
Thank you very
much.
Draw
a line. Don't sit on the fence.
No, I will not. Sometimes you have to be just an egalitarian in the making. And what he is saying, whether democracy has failed or not in Africa, yes, we are not getting it right, but not quite okay. There are reasons behind it. First, you must believe that we are from the third world, and this third world has been colonized by these Britons, France and whatever. And most of our resources have been taken away since from that age of kindergarten, when we are just in the under colonial masters. And today, those who you think or you have a thought of, they can stand by their feet to defend their democracy or grow their democracy. If these foreign countries who are our colonial masters are not in tandem with what is happening, then definitely I'm assuring you, Madam Anire, we are not getting it right. I can remember vividly one of the leaders from France Republic was saying that he was part and parcel, or he led a junta overthrowing either military or democratic government, both in Africa and other third worlds. 47. And among these 47, they assassinate 17 presidents. And that man still is alive, and nobody touched him. You are doing democracy when you are running or dancing to their tunes. When you are not dancing to their tunes, then you are not doing democracy. Let me tell you, just look at what South Africa is going through. Just because of maybe they felt that what is happening in the Palestinian and Gaza is apartheid. It's just the same with apartheid that they have suffered in some years back, where later they have gained their freedom. Yeah. So for that reason, they took the Israel down to the world. What do we call it? Hague, at a world court. So in this situation, their ambassador from United States has been sent back. A lot of diplomat has been sent away from the US, that there is no, that they are dehumanizing the white people in South Africa. So for that reason, whenever you want to play the game very right, okay, just recently they stopped the USAID, that the USAID have stopped their normal assistance that for Africans and other developed world, and you can hear what is happening now. There is tendency that last year we have recorded about 8 million new HIV patients in Africa, in Nigeria. So how many do we going to record in the absence of this assistance? You can understand what I'm trying to say. So the democracy that former president is talking about, yes, democracy might not be growing, but at least some African countries like Rwanda, if you know of Joseph Kigali.
What about in Nigeria?
Nigerian democracy is
not working. Because they've said it's not working. Obasanjo said, Obi, Tambuwal, Coca, they've said democracy is not working.
I can listen to Tambuwal and Peter Obi, maybe, and Kuka. But when you are talking about President Olusegun Obasanjo was one of the presidents that was declaring election when election was going on in 2003. It happens in Gombe State during the late former governor Abu Hashidu against Goje. Senator, what this name of this senator from Anambra State, George Magalu. When election was going on, his election was announced that he lost the election. So there are a lot of brouhaha. There are some people who are not saints, but they try to be more holier than the Pope. And if these are what we are talking about, yes, we need a democracy. A democracy that tally with African values and tradition.
That's what he said.
And I agree that with him. But when you go to places like Germany, I think you know their last president, Angela Merkel, Chancellor Angela Merkel. She spent about 17 years. What types of constitution they are talking about in their democracy? But in Africa, you have been given a space of time, a limit of time, and still they are monitoring you. They are using you left, right, and whatever that you may call so. The democracy that we witness now in 26 years is far better than the 60 years of democracy in the United States in America. Wow. If you go by history and find out, the reason is that a lot of things has been stopped. Yes, during Obasanjo, you remember when we are producing almanac during the military juntas, when you have a salah by Sunday or Monday, somebody will come and put almanac under KAFTAN, and then you can print more than 10,000. It is an agency or ministry. If it's supposed to be, it is for 8,000. They will put 800,000 or 8 million. That was what happening. Then during Obasanjo, he cut off what we call, you can find a director having a driver for his school children, for his 4 wives, for his journey to Lagos, for his township where he's going to attend to see his girlfriends, and all that things, and the routine one for the office. But when Obasanjo came, he cut off those type of things. You have to help him with those.
Hassan, is democracy working in Nigeria or not?
To be honest and sincerely, democracy have no light in the last tunnel now that we are seeing in Nigeria.
Okay, Jennifer, I want your take.
Okay, so my opinion, first of all, what is democracy? Democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So I feel the colonial masters that you refer to have no place here. We are Nigerians. Nigerians have a particular way of doing things. The leadership, the state of our governance is a reflection of our society, of our ideals as a people. So is democracy working in Nigeria? It's working as the Nigerian system is working. So, which may not be suitable to other people, but as far as Nigerians are concerned, as far as the actors are concerned, they're playing the game as they see fit. I'd like to say this with a caveat that I think President Obasanjo should refrain from being such a critic. He's always criticized his predecessors, while his administration was not flawless. For example, these statements came in the light of the suspension of Governor Fubara in River State. But it is on record in 2004. This same president, democratically elected President Obasanjo, suspended 2 governors in his time. So it's sort of a pot calling the kettle black. I think if anyone has anything to say about democracy, it can't be Tambuwal, it can't be President Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo, it can't be Peter Obi. It should be credible individuals. If Father Cooker has something to say, yes, I think so. But people who've been through, it's sort of like a person who's crossed the bridge. You then cross to the other side, then want to break the bridge. They all were democratic actors in Nigeria. So when you say something is bad, you always look at, okay, what did you leave behind for the generation coming? Former President Obasanjo, I mean, I was really young, but I recall he was attempting to change the constitution of Nigeria to allow himself have a third term in government. So who is he to come out and say it's not working? No, let me tell you what we have in the Nigerian polity. It is sad, but it is a reality. So this generation hand over a baton, a corrupted baton, to the next. And what do the younger people do? They learn from you and they amplify it. So whatever is in the Nigerian political system now, blame them. Blame President Obasanjo, blame even Awolowo, blame all the previous actors. You left the system, the people coming after you just learned to do it better or to do it worse, either way. But I think democracy in Nigeria is not as the textbook version. We see the legislature not having as much power as they should. They're supposed to check the executive powers. We see the judiciary also, well, as they say they're sold out. So we have principally an executive rule of governance. So we have executive arm of government in charge. So legislature, judiciary, they're sort of auxiliary roles. And it wasn't supposed to be that way, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's why we had a system, or the system that was designed to say judiciary should be head of one arm of government, executive should have one arm, and legislature should have one arm. And if one party misbehaves, one of the others should be able to checkmate. But we find like what happened in River State, executive person didn't like what the legislature did, and he went ahead and demolished House of Assembly. Now,
arm of government.
A whole arm of government. That actually is against the Constitution, against whatever we're preaching in democracy. But again, as I said, Nigerian democracy is as the Nigerian society is. So however you feel about that.
Okay, Hassan, I really want you to react to this, to what Jennifer has said. Well, we have a divided house here. You have given your own take on the situation, but Jennifer has outrightly come to say, look, it is working based on the Nigerian system. Based on the Nigerian system, based on the foundations laid, democracy is working according to the rules laid. I would want a reaction to what she has said before we move on.
She will not be far from saying the truth, but what we are trying to say is that she has said something, that the definition of democracy is not in tandem with what is happening in Nigeria.
It's not the textbook democracy.
It's not the textbook democracy. In the reality, what she is saying, that is how democracy is supposed to be. That how democracy, as she stated, it's a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So you do it the way you feel.
But there's a clause there for all Nigerians.
Yes,
the Nigerian system.
The clause is this: Nigerian system. Yes, when we do it very well in Nigerian system, we will going to get it very right. The fact remains that somebody who is having executive power has demolished another arm of government, which is supposed to be checkmating that very executive part of the arms of government, which is legislative. And then the next things, faking the situation at the end of the tunnel to what? To judiciary, which will going to maybe too complacent to what the executives want to have. But the fact remain here is this: if you can call it that it is growing, yeah, I told you that it's not growing the way I'm expecting it, or it is declining day in, day out. But when she mentioned that people like Obasanjo, Tambuwal, and whatever, Yes, this one is number 1 citizen. This one was number 4 citizen. This one was number 1 in his state. You understand what I'm saying? All of them, we knew their performance. The very day that he was elected as speaker, they went through defense. I could remember vividly. Yes. So what we are saying here is that she might have her own thinking. And if we were going to think the way she is thinking, you understand what I'm saying? That the baton have been handed over from this generation to next generation, and every generation is becoming more declining and worse than the other ones. When we are talking about people like Chief Obafemi Awolowo and late Nnamdi Azikiwe, these are people that were having mind and zeal to give a free education, and these people that enjoy the free education are today who are trying to create a social welfare in the education system that they cannot afford to give the free education. But when you go to someone's house who is either an executive, having an executive power, or that of what do we call it, legislator, or a judiciary person, you find out the types of cars as if it is a car stand for sale. So for that reason, where is the zeal, sympathy that is having for the generation that we are coming up? Because this generation, I'm from the north. You know what I'm talking about. I'm from the north, from the most populous state, that is Kano. I want you to understand that we are having about 3 million out of school children. And you know what that means? It is a time bomb. Because if we are not talking about time bomb, and this problem is not because that maybe they are not doing it very well. They are doing it. I have, for example, 4 wives. My friend from Enugu or Calabar is having only 1 wife and 3 children. I have 18 or 19 children, and the ratio maybe will come from 12 to 18 children, and the ratio here is 2 to 4 children. You can understand, if somebody will give 100 million for the growing of education in Enugu or Anambra, and the other person was given 100 million in Sokoto or Kano, while he has 18 children, not that they are not catering for the education, but the amount given and the lack of control of debt sometimes, it is something subject to what we are seeing. And for that reason, we can call these governors are not doing what we are expecting. When I said the democracy is declining, I'm not wrong.
So moving on, if you just joined us, it is the press, and this morning we're taking a look at a statement credited to 4 giants, 4 African giants: Obasanjo, Obi, Tambuwal, Kuka. Democracy not working in Nigeria. Let us take a look at Peter Obi's statement concerning this particular matter. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, LP, in the 2023 general election, Mr. Peter Obi, has described the state of democracy in Nigeria, arguing that the system has collapsed and no longer functions as it should. It compared Nigeria's democratic development to a building project, suggesting that while initial foundations were laid in 1999, subsequent efforts to build upon them have been dismantled, leaving the system in disarray. Obi lamented that governance structures have been severely weakened, rendering institutions ineffective. Drawing from his personal experience as a former governor, Obi recalled how he was able to secure his mandate through the courts without external interference, an occurrence he believes would be impossible in today's political climate. So, Jennifer, there you have Obi's statement. He has compared Nigeria's democratic development to a building project. I want your take on that.
So my take on Peter Obi as a person, so I won't just look at a statement, I always look at who's talking, is he is a critic of the government because he's in opposition. And that's the job of the opposition. You can criticize because you're on the outside. If he was given an appointment as a minister, you'd see a turnaround. We saw someone like Daniel Bawala, who wailed every day against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and everything he was doing. And the next minute, he switches, and then he's a praise singer on the other side. So Peter Obi has showed himself as a politician without scruples. He's jumped, party hopped here and there, and so he's free to criticize. That's what he's supposed to do because he's looking for a position. But don't forget, this is a man that attempted to split Nigeria through religion. 2023, pre-2023 elections, Peter Obi went to churches and says, Christians, take back your country. That is an inciting statement. That is a statement that potentially can lead to anarchy. So how is that person with a moral ground to say things are not working in Nigeria. And then now, this Ramadan, he has moved to the north because he saw the Christians couldn't deliver. He's now, you know, I even made a joke about it that his name is now Peteru Obidala. He's wearing, you know, Babariga and sitting down with children, the Amajiri children and eating. So maybe next election he will say, Muslims, take back your country. So this is not a stable human being that anything he has to say has credibility. Peter Obi has no credibility. He was in PDP. He said he would never leave PDP. He jumped to Labour Party and, you know, tried to divide the country. It didn't work out. And so whatever he has to say, as far as I'm concerned, is just noise. He has no moral standing to say things are not working. And when he was governor of this said Anambra state, what were his policies? How was Anambra state any better? I mean, I was a lot younger and I wasn't really involved in politics, but the reports from people from his state and he didn't really perform any better. So I said all of that to say Peter Obi, whatever he has to say, as far as I'm concerned, is discredited. He has no moral standing whatsoever.
Hassan, today, not today, the way we talk about Nigeria. So I really want your own take on Peter Obi's statement. Are you countering what Jennifer said? You want to add to what Jennifer said? Again, Obi has lamented that governance structures have been severely weakened, rendering institutions ineffective. That statement too, based on democracy not working in Nigeria, is credited to Obi. So please, your take on this.
Okay, the good part of it is that he's from the opposition. Okay. And he's talking like an opposition. When you are talking about governance in an opposition, you have to put it the way people will believe that, yeah, you're an opposition member. But as my sister Jennifer here was just saying, he became a governor from ABGA, not PDP. So after 8 years, he left and joined the PDP. Before leaving ABGA,
you remember he made a statement he would never leave.
A statement that he will never leave ABGA in his life, in presence of late Chief Odumegu Ojukwu.
There's a video. I saw it.
You know, record doesn't lie. So when in this situation, you have to be looking things the way they are. So, but later he moved to PDP as a special advisor to President Jonathan then, and now later he moved back to PDP as a running mate to Atiku 2019. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, then later 2023, some few months to the primaries, he moved to Labour, and what she just said, he made a lot of incitement statement which one cannot happy with. If you are a real politician, politics is all about becoming too tolerant, and if whether you like it or not, this is where the present president is today. He is very, very tolerant to some of our people, and if for that reason now people are even seeing him, which type of person is this? These are people that have been insulting him, that he has been a drug baron, he has been a no certificate, he is a religion this, and now like Boala, who is now the mouthpiece of the presidency. You know, people should have a decorum of shyness in this life because the record is there. So I don't know what he is telling people now. I have been seeing his statement, but for Peter Obi, you have to be very fair to him that he is coming from the opponent, that is opposition. And this opposition that they are talking about, I have not seen, even within the party, those who form the party and on the certificate of the party, they are not with him. In some of, what is the name of this former what do you call it? Hollywood, Nollywood.
Kenneth Okonkwo came out.
I think you heard what he said. He said that he realized that Obi has no capacity. He can't have that capacity to. He don't hold himself fine, like a politician that can lead from the front. Rather, he is just a critic. That's what he's
an official critic.
This is somebody that has been attacking people, Nigerian government from importing and whatever. He owned the cash and carry. Full imports. Anything that you are seeing there is imported from China or whatever. And the very unfortunate part of it, he is very good in mentioning indices that when you calculate this, when you start calculating, you find out that his words are not right. So this is it.
So if you just joined us, this is the press this morning. But before going any further, I want you to understand that the views this morning are for my guest, not the views of
Anire and KAFTAN.
On my view. Again, we'll take a short break, because when we return, we shall be giving you your own chance as Nigerians to call in and have your views heard. Then I can rightly say those who called, what they said is their views and not mine or that of KAFTAN Television. This morning, democracy not working in Nigeria, yes or no? We'll take that break, and when we return, the phone lines will be opened. Stay with us.